There's one.
Got him.
All right, on the board. He hit it good. Mr. Walleye. That is not a bad start. So, today's mission, Al and I are going to be catching these, let him go, with these. Now, it is no secret that the jig is probably the best fishing lure of all time. And of course, walleyes love to bite jigs. So today we're going to dive into some of the ways in which we fish jigs, especially in the spring. We are post-spawn. We're here in Minnesota. We are just a couple days after Minnesota's fishing opener, and the fish are spread out on some flats and some deep breaks. And we're going to go through some of the subtleties of jig fishing for walleye. There we go. On. Feels like a nice fish too, Al.
Almost looks like an edible fish.
I think it is. Feels pretty good. Oh, because it's a big brown one.
Is it brown?
Oh. Yeah.
All right,
that's a bonus. Take that. That is actually the first smallmouth bass I've caught this year. That is an outstanding smallmouth to start things off with, huh? Always a bonus.
You know, a lot of the lakes that we fish have smallmouth and walleyes in good numbers in them. And jigging the way we're jigging today, with a variety of jig baits, it isn't rare to catch a walleye, and all of a sudden a big smallie, or vice versa. And that's what makes it so much fun, this type of delivery system for two of our favorite fish.
There's one.
Fish.
Another
walleye.
Walleye.
Size?
Just a regular. Nice fish though. You know, right now, when I'm looking at the electronics, and it's pretty awesome what you can do with electronics today. And believe it or not, we are not seeing that many fish. And that is one of the things that happens when fish get negative. When fish get belly to the bottom, they can be really difficult to see. So we really had in our minds, you know, just that period after opener that we're going to be able to come out here and fish a lot more horizontal presentations. But a lot of times what happens is when the fish are laying on the bottom or they're in a really negative mood, sometimes that's when you have to be a lot more aggressive in your presentations to actually get them to bite. So one of the things that we're seeing here is that we're going to good spots, we're not marking a lot of fish, but you know, at this point in the day anyway, it seems like the fish are responding more to baits that are jumping. So we're fishing the jigs with that snap jigging approach. However, if they get up and moving, we might be able to just cast and wind the jig. So throughout the day and you know, really all the time, you have to be paying attention to really what your electronics are telling you. If you're not seeing a lot of fish and you know they're there, sometimes speed is more important than finesse. On. Look at you go.
She feels really good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Jerry, that's a better fish.
Nice. A nettable model?
Yeah, that's a nettable, yeah.
I like it.
I think it's one of the better fish of the
If you
day.
could swing her towards me.
Yeah. Come on, Mama. Go to Uncle Jerry. All right.
All right.
Oh boy. Let's see what we got going here, Jerry. That's a good one.
That is a great fish, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Jerry's been whacking them so good. You know, I changed up a little bit and boy, it made a difference quickly. Come on, give me my jig back. Look at that baby, that's good fish, huh?
It's a great fish.
He goes all right along with him. He wants to keep that thing. He didn't want to give that up.
There's one. Black hair jig. Nice. That's just amazing, you know. We started and you're just snap jigging, and it's like all you could do to get them to bite. And then you just changed the retrieve. I changed the actual style of bait too, and there's really two dressings. One, of course, is plastic, which is very popular, but the other, classic dressing, the original dressing, hair. Just a black hair jig. And now this hair jig, that snap jigging retrieve can be really good, but I was just slowly, subtly swimming this bait around, and you just feel that little tick, bam, gotcha.
I just put a black on to my confidence bait. I just tied it on.
That's awesome. There's so many fish up there, it's just unbelievable. 2 chasing me. Come on. 3 chasing me. Got him. That was awesome. Just took a few of them. This is a nice fish too, Al. Real nice fish. Real nice fish. Real.
Edible?
Oh yeah, real beauty.
Oh yeah, nice one.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
They're waking up.
Look at how he ate that. Thank you, sir. I got it.
You got her?
Yep. Appreciate it. All right, we are spot locked, held in position. A lot of people say, oh man, you know, they're biting on this and they're biting on that, and this is the hot bait. And well, sure, of course it can be, but what's always floored me about fishing is just because it was a hot bait yesterday doesn't necessarily mean it's a hot bait today, and just because it was a hot bait an hour ago doesn't mean it's a hot bait at this particular moment. And when we started this morning, the fish were laying down. They were really hard to find on electronics, and now you'd think the conditions would be worse. It got calm and slick, but now the fish are coming up. So we're able to see them a little bit more with the Mega Live and fish showing up on side imaging. And the other thing that is happening with these slicked off conditions is we're getting a midge hatch. So the bugs are starting to come. And when you get bug hatches, I am telling you, a black hair jig, marabou or bucktail, for walleyes and smallmouth and largemouth, a lot of different fish, this is absolutely one of the best baits for artificials to use when you get that little bug hatch going.
You know, jig is really simple. It's a clump of lead or tungsten with a hook coming out of it. Through the years, people started looking at different shapes. This is the moontail jig. It's a flat jig, an aspirin head. It's got big giant eyes on it. You put all these things together, you catch more fish on it. But it's all started with a little clump of lead with a hook on it and somebody sticking something on the back of it. And today it's one of the most productive walleye baits in the whole wide world.
Got him. Nice. Bam. Holy. Isn't that something, Al? I mean, isn't that just remarkable how that can just change? It can just change so fast, so fast. And the other thing that is amazing about it too is that just because you think that fishing is good when you've got a certain type of condition isn't always the case. You might think, you look around right now and say, oh, calm, flat, sunny, conditions got worse. Well, the fish don't think so. They started biting. That's just awesome, man. Cool, cool. Not giants, but boy, if you can just smash fish like this on jigs, I'm all in, baby. I love it.
Ooh, got him. Got him, Jer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at that. I can't tell the size.
Yeah, it's just kind of
real
regular.
High. You know, swimming that jig high. Look at these are post-spawn fish, obviously. You know, they're just starting to feed up now. Yeah, you know, that bite is just starting to get good. I got an old rule of thumb, and it's kind of holds true. You know, 30 days after they spawn,
That's a nice fish.
there's a hot bite. They'll start 2 weeks or so, you know, afterwards, but by 30 days into the season, they're peaking. That bite is really, really good. We're not quite there yet, but we're on our way.
I mean, the deal with this post-spawn walleye bite too is that it is a great time of year to fish for walleyes in shallow water. Of course, they can be shallow just about any time of year, but right now, all the life tends to be shallow earlier in the year. So, I mean, we're really focusing most of our efforts 15 feet and shallower, and a lot of times, you know, 5 to 10 feet of water is where a lot of these big fish can hang out, but it just depends on the conditions. There we go, on. And we got walleye. Nice. And on the third jig I had tied up today, which I actually had set up for doing exactly what I was doing when I caught that fish. Now with technology today, once you've used this stuff, it's kind of hard to not use it. So in the front of Al's boat here, you know, he's got 360 imaging and side imaging and 2D imaging and of course just all the latest toys. And one of the baits that I had tied on for using the live imaging was this. Oh, this little walleye go. That is a little tungsten jig. This is that VMC tungsten Walleye Jig, and tungsten, being denser than lead, does have a really good return. So if you are using forward-facing sonar, or you followed any of the trends in fishing, I mean, it really is a little jig and a minnow. Like, this seems to just be dominating every type of fishing that there is right now. So this gives me a great return on that sonar, and I've got this 3/16 of an ounce, so I can kind of hover it, and then I'm shaking my rod tip, and this bait's just kind of rolling and rocking back and forth, and bingo. So this is that Big Bite Baits Sensation 4-inch minnow. So I came out here today with an 1/8 ounce moontail in black, caught him on it. Came out here with a 1/4 ounce moon eye, caught him on that. And what I like about the moon eye compared to this tungsten one is the moon eye is a little flatter. And with this minnow profile on here, it seems like you can get a little bit better hunt out of this one. So this one was for my snap jigging, this one was for forward-facing sonar, and this one was just for a straight retrieve if we got slick conditions and a bug hatch. So I'm pretty happy with the way I rigged things up today.
Ooh, got him. I finally got one. I ended up putting the hair down, and I put a little rubber on, and throwing what Jer's been throwing, and he's been catching fish after fish after fish. And I figured out, maybe I ought to do what he's doing. There. Minnesota gold, man.
There's one. Little pack of them, huh?
Well, I can tell you, when they're in here, they can be good ones.
I like it. It's getting bigger. It felt little at first, but now it's getting better. I don't think it's huge though.
Nice one.
And it's a nice fish,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
man.
Nice
Very
one.
nice fish. That's one of the things I do love about walleyes is they like to hang out in groups, don't they, Al?
Well, that's a big thing. Walleyes like groups.
When this is the program, I am never sad. Mr. Walleye, and I'll share with you the setup that we've got going for catching these babies. Whoa! I have not been so smooth at releasing today. I'm sorry, fish. Woohoo! I was trying to be nice to you and get you back. Whoa! Let me get this net put away, and I will share with you the setups that we're using to catch the walleyes. Now, the one I just caught that one on was a great power and action for doing this. This is a 6'8" medium power extra fast action. St. Croix calls this their snap jigging rod in a number of different series: Icon, Legend Tournament, Avid Walleye, and this happens to be the Avid series. So this is a new release, same material as what's in the Avid Walleye, Avid Panfish. It's got that same foregrip on here that I really love because I'm fishing my whole hand forward for the snap jigging approach. But what I love about it, because I'm old school, is I love the full cork. So this is just an absolutely beautiful setup for this. And when you're snap jigging those 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce jigs, having that medium power extra fast action is a really big deal. Now, the other setup that I've been throwing quite a bit has been this. This one happens to be the Physics, one of St. Croix's new high-end rods. This is an all carbon deal, but really what I want to talk about is the 7-foot medium power fast action. To me, that is the all around do everything rod, whether you're bass fishing or walleye fishing. I just absolutely love that power and action. So I've got 2 7-foot medium power fast actions and then the 1 6-foot medium extra fast in the boat, and they are all spooled up with 10-pound Suffix 832 in high vis yellow. And Al and I were just talking right before I caught that fish. I asked, do you have any mono set up in the boat? Because he typically is a mono man, but he's been switching a little bit more. And I like the high vis yellow because those fish are biting on slack line a lot of the times. You've always got a good connection to see where things are going. And then fishing 2500 size reels. This one in particular has been pretty sweet. So this is the Regal. This is a famous reel from Daiwa. It's on a great price point, really affordable. This one has the collapsible handle, smooth drag. It's now got the air drive system in it, so it's super lightweight. But yeah, a couple combos like this and you are set to do all the walleye jigging that you want to do for an entire season.
I got a good fish.
Are you in need of a net?
Yeah, it feels like it's a better fish, yeah.
Kind of interesting how the nicer fish are more on the bank and the bigger and the smaller ones are out to sea, huh?
Yeah, we came to the area here is holding better fish.
Yeah.
You know, real nice.
Oh, you caught that one on the opening weekend, Al.
Yeah.
Got a sore jaw. Well, that's a really good fish. Look at the head on that thing.
Yeah.
That's a sweet fish.
Come on, give me my jig back. Okay. Yeah, she's got to start feeding up a little bit. Look at that.
Yeah.
Catch and release, huh?
Yeah.
You know, in our home state of Minnesota here, we have many of the best known walleye lakes absolutely in the world. Lakes like Vermilion and Leech come to mind. Yeah, you know, say Vermilion, Leech, people all over the world come to fish walleyes in these lakes. Mille Lacs is another one, just to name a couple. And I would say, venture to say, that there's more walleyes caught on a jig in Minnesota and probably all of Ontario than any other family of baits all season long when you put it together. Spring, summer, fall, winter. You might not agree. I'm just sharing with you my 2 cents why I think jigs are so incredibly productive.
Look at that. That is a great fish. It's just amazing today. So started out in the morning getting a few snap jigging. The fish were on the bottom. It got sunny and bright. They wouldn't touch that. Switched to a black hair jig, got them on a hair jig, and then we got a little bit of breeze. The fish were still up high. They wouldn't touch the black hair jig, switched to a little tungsten jig, just swimming it midway down in the column. They started eating that, and now they went close back to the bottom and we're getting them snap jigging again. So in one day, there have been 3 presentations, all with the jig, that were dominant for just a short period of time, and I loved every minute of it. Boom.
Today I'd like to share with you a quick email that I got from a guy the other day. And what I'm going to be talking about is something that every single one of us are going to have to deal with in life. Every one of us. Nobody's going to dodge this bullet. Let me read this letter to you. Short email. Dear Mr. Lindner, I've always loved your shows and advice and your gospel ending. I'm an avid North Country fisherman, a faithful Christian. I'm seeking your advice on how to deal with the death of my best friend of 48 years and my best fishing partner. He died suddenly of a heart attack a few days ago, and I'm devastated. We had so many trips already booked for this year, and I have no desire to fish without him because everything else will be a reminder. I know to trust God's decisions in life, but this has me questioning why him. He was more healthy than me. He had no sign of heart trouble whatsoever. Any advice you can help me with as far as coping with this would be truly appreciated. Wow. I can relate. My mom and dad went home to be with the Lord a long time ago. My mother at an early age, my dad 20 years later. So, some time ago, my brother, my best friend, my closest partner in life and everything we did together went home to be with the Lord. A year after that, my wife went home to be with the Lord. Shortly after that, my nephew, Michael, went home to be with the Lord. In all their cases, there was one thing they had in common. Every single one of them at that time were ready to go home. Some of them were dealing with sickness and disease. And I'll never forget my wife's words shortly before she left. She looked at me one day, 10 days before she went home, and she said, honey, I can't do this any longer. I want to go home to be with Jesus. I don't want to die in this hospital. I want to go to my bed in my house. Get me out of here. My brother knew it, Michael knew it, my dad knew it. They were all ready. There is a certain peace that surpasses all kinds of understanding when you know that your loved one is in heaven, living in a pain-free body, no sickness, no disease, and that you, according to the Word of God, if you're a believer like I believe, and many of you believe the same thing, that you will see them again in paradise. You will be in heaven with them at another. It makes everything easy. There's something, the peace and time, God has a way of healing these pains. It's called time, just time. It eases it up, it eases it up. This is not an easy message, but it's real. Every one of us got to deal sometime with a loved one like this, and you got to let them go. That's what God said to me when my wife went home to be with Jesus. She said, "It's time, Al, I'm coming to get her, and you have to let her go. You got to let it go for your own good, and to just get in, live life. There's a lot of life left in you, and God expects you, and your loved one probably would want the same thing for you." Tough message, but I had to say it. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, have a great fishing season. God bless. We'll see you on the water.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride. This segment is brought to you by Sunset Country, Ontario, Canada. You gotta come visit.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves.
Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Rap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.
We are loaded for bear. We got
You know,
bites.
there's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drags.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.